Hello, everybody. I am Sam.
And I'm Amy, and alongside with us we have Hayden, and also the Nerd Switch Boys.
Hi.
Hello there.
We got a motley crew talking about stuff that
That like 20% of people care about.
Yeah.
But not really.
No, I think it's pretty popular.
It's like 50.
I feel like one of those, what are they? Oh my gosh, influencers who get a promotion, but it's like a sponsor you don't really want to talk about. So you can tell they're really unenthused about it. Like, I'm so happy to tell you about.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, today we're talking about like DC movies in a general perspective, and let's get into it. Here's what I got drinking today. I got the Mountain Dew Baja Passion Fruit Punch.
I read it as poison. Like from here it looks like, oh yeah, the poison for Cusco. Cusco's
Poison.
poison specifically made for Cusco.
But yeah, that's pretty good. I like it.
I've heard good things for it.
Yeah,
Man.
I think I like it more than the. I was about to say the passion fruit one, but that's what this one is.
That's what that
I
one
like
is.
it better than the Caribbean Splash Baja,
Whoa.
but yeah,
Guys, we finally did it. We got one of the Bajas.
yeah.
I got a code red. Did we all get Mountain Dew today?
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah!
Look at us!
What you got, Hayden?
Spark.
Wow.
Mountain Dew Spark.
Mine is the weird Maverick exclusive. I don't know what it's called, but it's pretty good.
The Goji Strawberry.
Yeah, something.
Goji.
I love it. I love the Goji Strawberry.
That one's good.
And then I've also got a code red.
Wow, look at us. Twins.
We almost had perfect diversity, and then he pulls up the code.
To be fair, I was going for something else, but they didn't have it.
Was it going to be a Mountain Dew?
It was going to be a Kickstart though.
Oh.
That would have been something
That would
different.
have been really diverse.
I don't think we've seen a Kickstart on this podcast.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Next
Unless
time,
you
baby.
brought it last time.
I might have brought one before.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I can't remember. But okay. I got a little monologue
Oh,
that I wrote up like 20 minutes ago.
No
And,
homework, just monologue.
Yeah. So this will be the center of our conversation today, fellas and Amy.
Okay.
So bear with my grammar and my writing. It's not the greatest, but we'll
And
go
his
with it.
talking.
Yeah, yeah. Comic book movies are the center of cinema for a while. Have been. Wow. The comic book movies have been the center of cinema for a while now. Marvel is easily the most popular company when it comes to movies as of recent history. But there was a time when DC brought out the better films with the Christopher Reeve Superman, Dark Knight, other movies, Green Lantern. No.
I can't believe you skipped over Tim Burton Batman and those ones.
Well, I was
Joel
trying to get. I was going to get some like diversity, but then I only came up with two names, and then I'm like, okay,
What diversity?
Superman and Batman.
Whoa.
So with the DCU being like starting this, like with the DCU being revamped, but with James Gunn as the head new Kevin Feige of the DC universe.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
That one.
yeah. Are we gonna see a resurgence of this popularity in DC movies, or are we gonna be like the general public in The Incredibles and be done with the supers and protest? They saved our lives, but they actually just prevented our deaths, to quote unquote that one guy.
Wow.
So, what's everybody's thoughts on superhero movies in general?
Hot dog water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to like them, and now I'm just, I don't know. I just think they should pull a Patrick and be like, why don't we just take the superhero movies and move them out of the cinemas. I'm so sick of it.
When was the point when you sort of stopped?
Phase 4, MCU. I gave up on DC like way earlier. But...
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah, pretty much
That's
the
not
same.
That's not the point of DC. You don't believe in them. You just go for the fun of it.
But
You're not there for an educational time. You're there for a fun time.
I don't think I've gotten either.
I kind of agree with that.
No.
Well, so what was the movie where you're just like, man, I think I'm done now? Like,
I was really into the MCU. I think I clocked out at maybe Eternals, because that was pretty early Phase 4.
Yeah.
Or Black Widow, Eternals, kind of like between those two.
mm.
I was like starting to feel it, and then it really set in with Thor and Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Since me and him were in on this together, that's kind of the same spot.
Yeah.
Like, again, I didn't even get to watch the Black Widow when that came out. Then Eternals came out, and I waited till it was out of theaters, and it was already on Disney Plus, or it might have already just gone to Disney Plus. And I watched it there, and then I was just like, yeah, this was pretty boring. I was not into this at all.
Yeah, I maybe it's unfair to say I'm sick of superhero movies. I think I'm just sick of like lukewarm to bad superhero movies, because there are still good ones.
Yeah.
Like Guardians 3, Spider-Verse. DC, I have not enjoyed pretty much anything since Man of Steel, but I do like their standalone projects, like the Batman, Joker, the new Suicide Squad was good.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's room to make good ones, I just don't think they're doing it anymore.
The cinema DCU, I've honestly never been super big fans of. Like, growing up, you had Christian Bale, Batman, you had all the Batmans previous. That's kind of what I grew up with, so I got to enjoy those, but going now, yeah, I can't really get into a lot of the DC cinema movies. Animated's where it's at. It's always been animated.
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like that's the problem too. It's like there's so many good animated ones, but everyone just writes it off because it's like, duh, it's animated, it's for kids, and it's like, duh, you people suck.
You need to watch it and prove, you can be proven wrong.
Shut
Yeah.
up, Reed.
Watch Under the Red Hood. It'll change your mind.
I mean, I don't know if that's the one that you could go for, but
I mean, that one's one of the better ones.
I like the
but
Batman Ninja.
I need to watch
oh, I
that.
heard that one was pretty fun. I heard that one was fun actually. They just barely announced a trailer for a Joker anime.
No,
Yeah.
it's a Suicide.
Oh, is it Suicide
Yeah, it's
Squad?
Suicide Squad, Isekai.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one looks like it could be fun. Could be
Could
fun.
be, yeah.
Could be fun. I've also just recently gotten into anime, so I'm just like, okay.
Oh boy, my two favorite things.
Well, I'm like, oh, this is something that I like. I like superhero movies. And then also anime is just coming to my life, and it's good.
I'm sorry for your loss.
I've been
Welcome.
yeah. Well, when I say anime, I've really gotten into I like the One Piece episodes that I've watched, and
Proud of you for that. Someone's
and-
at least tried.
well, I just watch it when my roommate's watching it in the living room. And then I've gone to like part 3 on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which one's fun. But we're not talking about anime, everybody.
I mean, we were.
We were, but Hayden, where are you at with your movies?
I'm kind of on that same boat. It's like there's potential for good movies, like with Guardians and stuff, but it's like it kind of feels like they're just putting out blockbusters just for cash grab. They're kind of getting to a point where they don't care, and I feel like a lot of that, at least with Marvel specifically, because I'm not well versed in DC stuff, movies that much, because I don't know, but I feel like after Endgame they just didn't have a clear plan on where to go, and they're just like, well, we can just rehash old characters and just give them villains to kill off in one movie, and then that'll be it.
Yeah.
So
Fair.
Yeah. There's just a lot of potential with. I feel like this could be like with any kind of movie, but just with superhero movies, since that's like the popular thing. there's so much that you can do with it, like just adding more stuff rather than just being like, dude, I'm a superhero. Oh, there's this villain. I gotta fight him. Whoa, look at us go. Like, there's so much more that you can add to it. Like with, like Guardians 3. It's like all about trauma.
Yeah.
I guess the whole like trilogy of Guardians is just about like trauma.
I felt like it actually built on characters for
Yeah.
once. Where
Yeah.
normally, yeah, it is just there's superheroes, there's a villain, go fight the villain.
Mhm.
You
It's-
win.
The difference
it's all
is
about
in
the action.
it's the difference is in making you care.
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is what a lot of movies are failing to do at this point. A lot of characters have just become very like one note, and just not a lot is put into them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my other kind of take on it is like we've had such great growing up watching all our superhero movies. They've done so many of them, and it's nostalgia for us. And again, they built up this. I don't know how to describe it. Not really. They've set a bar, and now nothing is comparing to those because that's what we have for nostalgia.
Yeah.
And they're not putting in that extra work that they did before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's room to make it interesting. Like you can take a superhero formula but adapt it like they did with Joker and Logan, having it be more of a character study as compared to like a just action movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with superhero movies recently. I love going to the superhero movies. I think if there's one that's going to come out, I will watch it. That's my problem. I will watch anything that comes
He's
out.
addicted.
Yeah. I think I'm in an abusive relationship where I just like Marvel or DC just like is like, hey man, I'm back. I got a nice little movie for you. It could be good. And I'm like, okay,
This might
let's
work
watch
out.
it.
You're like, oh boy.
I'm like, oh, you're back again. Oh man, let's
I
try this
missed
again.
you.
And then I just get crotch shotted yet again. And I'm just like, man, this is not what I wanted. But
With ugly CG babies.
okay, but like the bad thing about it is like, well, not the bad thing, but like I say that like I'm gonna defend the Flash for a second because I actually was I think it might be top 3 favorite movies of the year. So I'm just kidding. Let me go to my notes really quick. I think I do not remember actually putting you this high. I think it's like 5 or 6 on movies that I've seen this year.
It's in your top 10.
Yeah, well, I think I've only seen like 10 movies this year.
Oh, cool.
So 1,
So
2,
by
3, 4,
default.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, I've seen 11 movies this year.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's like 6, so it's in the
Ugh.
bottom half.
Of all the movies I've seen this year, it's definitely one of them, I guess.
Okay, but like, I don't know. I think this is my thing. I do a lot of like research on like superheroes, and I get excited for like when a new superhero movie like comes out, and I see a character that I enjoy, and I was excited for Flash because I'm like, oh man, I really like the Flash in the comics, and then Ezra Miller decided to be a bad person and do stuff that got him in trouble. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not into this anymore. And then like Rider Strike happened. Then like people who were like the CG teams, like everybody just got like misrepresented and like they didn't get the representation that they deserved. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go watch The Flash, not for Ezra Miller, but for everybody else. And then I was very disappointed with the CG in some scenes.
Every scene.
Yeah.
for me.
Every scene.
Yeah, those gosh dang babies.
Babies.
Yeah.
Should watch it just for the scene alone.
Yeah.
Dude.
But I honestly had like fun with some like that's the thing with these like Marvel movies and these DC movies. I go in with like the expectation. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be entertained, and because I've just sort of been like my standards have been lowered on like movies, for like superhero movies
You're
because
not expecting them to be like the best movie ever. You're just like, as long as I have fun. That's
honestly though,
Yeah.
like I don't know.
that's all that you can do.
But this, like, I don't know, like seeing all that happen, and then now with James Gunn taking the reins of DCU, like it makes me wonder, like, oh, what will the DC universe be like? And that's where this idea of this episode came, because we have like all these different like movies that are coming out, you know. Like we have a new Superman that James Gunn is writing himself. And directing, I think he's directing and writing,
Maybe.
or just writing. I know he's for sure writing.
It's
and
his
then
Superman.
yeah, and then we got the Flash's director doing the new Batman Brave and the Bold, which I wasn't too upset with, like the direction that Flash was going, you know, but I think it was just, I don't know. And then, guys, we got the most hyped movie of all time coming out in October. Have you guys heard of the good old Kraven the Hunter?
Oh
Yeah.
god.
It's not James Gunn, but I think it's going to be up there with the James Gunn movies.
You know how we had It's Morbin time?
Yeah.
Is it going to be I'm Craven Justice?
Please, I need it.
I'm having a craving.
On a small tangent, I'm also like super tired of them taking villains and then giving them a new like anti-hero arc.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Let them be villains, please.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what I'm
especially if you're
here
gonna,
for.
especially if you're gonna advertise being like, man, this is a villain's origin story.
Yeah.
Like in both the Craven trailer and the Morbius trailer, it's like it's the villainous origin story of Morbius.
Well.
I'm like, okay, now I just know that they're a villain because you say that they're a villain,
Yeah.
and then when you go into it, it's just like. I want to suck your blood.
For science.
Yeah, for science.
I promise. Nothing else.
No, that's the same. The reason I had so much praise for Guardians 3 is because they took the villain and just made him purely evil. They didn't
Yeah.
try to make you empathize with him or anything like that.
Empathize, but
Yes.
yeah.
Like literally when he's like talking about like I'm doing this to better the people and just you as the audience and also I was gonna say Chris Pratt. I know it's Chris Pratt, but Star-Lord, we're all just like, oh shut up, we don't care. Like you've tortured a character that we all know and love, and you're trying to get us to be on your side. It's like, oh yeah, like that's what villains should be.
Yeah.
And I know I am sick of the whole trope of like, introduce a villain and then kill him off immediately. Dumb. But at least with him, I was like, okay, he deserved it though.
Like, yeah. What do we want to? What's the next step in this?
Where do we
podcast?
go now?
I had one point that I wanted to make with Marvel and DC because like Marvel started really strong and then has been on like a gradual decline over
Yeah.
time, whereas
Mhm.
DC I feel like started okay with Man of Steel, but then consistently thereafter was just like up and down,
Yeah.
never consistent.
A roller coaster.
So that's where I'm curious to see with what they're moving towards, like
Mm.
how do you recover from what was already like laid out before? That's a big mess. I know they're mostly just cutting everything off, but it hasn't been confirmed if they're like getting rid of Peacemaker and Suicide Squad.
Right.
Blue Beetle's weird because it's apparently the first character in the new DCU, but not the first DCU movie, which doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of like where like the cutoff was, where because I know that they're saying that they were still gonna release the movies that weren't part of James Gunn's like vision.
Yeah.
Like he was like, it's basically done. We'll just release them.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure where the cutoff was. If it
I
was
think
like
it's
for Blue Beetle
Aquaman.
or Aquaman's the cutoff.
Yeah, because I think what's left is Blue Beetle and Aquaman.
Oh,
And
okay.
then,
What I think James Gunn said was Superman would be the first official DCU film.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
for
okay.
whatever reason, Blue Beetle's the first character, but he's not.
yeah.
I don't know.
It's like not in the
Yeah, his
timeline.
movie's not in the DCU, but the character
Which,
is, I guess.
like,
Oh,
I
okay.
get, because that, like, they've put so much money, and there's a lot of people who've worked hard on these movies, and just to have it just
Thrown in the trash.
Yeah, like all these other projects that Warner Brothers decided to get rid of, or like HBO. I can't remember whose involvement it was.
I'm ready to fight someone.
Which, on a side note, it was kind of weird from like a marketing and planning standpoint why they would decide to announce the reboot of the DCU prior to movies like The Flash and Shazam 2 even coming out. Because I
Yeah.
feel like that's going to give a lot more people reason to not even want to see the movie if
Oh,
they know
yeah.
it's not going to like lead into anything.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Although kudos to The Flash for kind of finding a way to reset stuff and get rid of that rendition of The Flash by throwing him over in the Goonie universe.
Yeah.
But I want more of it.
Uh,
My problem is I want a sequel to it just to get more George Clooney. Please, I want him.
There should be a
Like a short, like don't make a full like 2-hour movie. Just make like maybe a 30-minute thing. I just want more George Clooney.
where you have George Clooney in The Flash go up against Mr. Freeze and Captain Cold.
Yes,
And
Bring
please.
back Arnold from
Dude,
Mr. Freeze.
Exactly.
You know how down Arnold Schwarzenegger would be. He'd be like, I want to do it.
Nice to meet you.
I like this idea. It's pretty chill.
Oh, please, I
Like-
want it.
Okay, James, Jimmy,
I know you're listening to
yeah,
us.
Mr. Gunn, hear us out. We need this. We just need that little short film. So some things that I'm like excited about. I've seen like they have this group called the Authority that's coming into play for DC, and they feel like sort of a more serious version of the Suicide Squad, because like the Suicide Squad is like a goofy ragtag
Ragtag
Thrown together
team.
team.
yeah. But like I know nothing about them other than that there's a guy that's like Superman but gay, and then there's a guy named I can't remember
Oh,
his name.
yeah, hold on.
Um,
I know exactly who you're talking about because I was like, is that them?
Yeah, they're
Hold on.
so
Dude,
I think
Batman and Superman are in love.
yeah.
The Batman and Superman of that group.
Yeah, because there's this brooding. I can't remember. Is he called the Midnighter?
I think so. Hold on.
I think it's Midnighter and whatever the Superman is,
Hold on.
and then you
Apollo is Superman. Yeah, Midnighter is Batman.
just yeah, and it's basically just like they're the leaders of the group. I think. No, they're not. There's this girl named Jenny Powers, and she seems pretty cool, and she's from England, and that's about it.
Nice.
And she's got electricity powers, and that's what I got from her.
You know, nowadays that passes for substantial character
Wow.
But yeah, it's
Her name is Jenny Sparks.
like
Jenny Power.
no. Well, there's different like renditions of that character, and I think it is Jenny Sparks and Jenny Powers.
Oh.
Like Austin Powers' granddaughter or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where. No way. Okay. Austin Powers shagged Wonder Woman and got Jenny Powers.
But her name is Jenny Sparks.
She's like, I got electric powers, baby. And she.
The energy in this room, I hate.
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh.
One project I'm really pumped for because I love the comics for it. Is Green Lantern. We need Ryan Reynolds back. I'm just kidding. We do not need Ryan Reynolds back. Ryan, stay away.
You're too busy being, I was gonna say Daft Punk. Definitely not that.
Deadpool.
Deadpool. I almost said Deathstroke also. saying all the wrong names,
Yeah.
he's just gonna taint him. Taint Green Lantern.
Yeah. I'm excited for that. I just want more Green Lanterns and just all the weird little powers of that
Mm-hmm.
because they're weird.
And cool.
Yeah. What's some other stuff that happens, or it's gonna happen? Oh, something that's gonna be weird, and I wonder what you guys think. James Gunn said that all the storylines are gonna intertwine, not just through the movies, but through like video games and TV shows, and I think animated stuff. So you're gonna be able to cycle through both. Like platform or all these different platforms.
But is it gonna be like Marvel, where it's like, oh, you have to watch this one show to understand this movie, but you also have to go through our subscription through. I was gonna not say Disney Plus, but you have to get a subscription for that and watch all of those episodes, and it's gonna take you a whole day to do all of this stuff.
That doesn't sound half bad, going through a whole day of trying to do it.
I
but-
don't want to though.
That was a big complaint I had with Phase 4 too, was the integration of like Disney Plus and the shows, because I think that's why Doctor Strange failed so badly, is because the people who were behind that movie didn't even watch WandaVision.
Fair.
Yeah.
I don't like putting contextual story stuff behind a paywall as well, like separate from going to see a movie. I don't know. It's weird.
Like, I understand that.
I'm
I
not.
mean, I feel like
Same
we
as
kind of already have it too. I mean, we have comic book sources that have been going back years.
Mm-hmm.
That should be your context there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
if you're
I'm
gonna
also-
have any context, yeah.
I'm also just thinking of the people that are like, this is going to be their introduction to all these things. Like, just thinking of like kids that are like going to be growing up with like their parents who are like, oh, dude, I love Marvel movies. We're going to watch them. And just like their first thing is going to be like this one movie where you need all this context for it. When it's like, why don't we just start like right here, and this can be their introduction.
Well, I'm just
Yeah. All
be a
that kind of stuff.
responsible parent and have them watch every movie from the beginning. I'm not gonna have them be like,
You're gonna
hey,
have to watch them when they're like newborn and be like, all right, son, look, we're gonna watch this movie, and you're now 5.
I think you're old enough to know what this is now.
Yeah, you know what
Exactly.
alcoholism is.
See, his parents died.
Well, you see that? That's called PTSD.
He had to go back in time to save his mom, but he went to an alternate universe and then met himself. And
all
You
because
see
he
this
moved.
thing?
All because he moved a can of tomato sauce.
Yeah.
And so, son, don't mess with.
Don't
tomato
even think
sauce.
about it.
Don't touch the tomato.
Gotta do it.
that's why I didn't like Ant-Man 2, because it was like, what was it, a mouse or a whatever was responsible basically
rat?
for saving all the characters in Endgame?
Oh, yeah.
That's fine. I'm fine with that.
That's so stupid.
Come on, it's just convenient, and it's just like, and it's. I know it could be lazy writing, but we don't need to write that in. Just be like, oh, like I feel like that's Ant-Man though. He's just a man of convenience, and so he had to just come back.
Oh, jeez.
But.
Now I'm just thinking of Quantumania, and I'm like, oh, please. Push it back, push it back. Don't bring it out, please.
To answer your question, though, I don't know. I think it's kind of weird if they go all in to the point where it's like, oh, did you play this video game and watch this TV show? Because if not, you're going to not understand this movie. Because, like, as soon as you throw in a video game, you're losing, like, half the audience.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's unless they're like really short arcade games where you can play like 3 levels and you're done.
Yeah.
Well,
Or,
just,
like, Candy Crush for all the boomers.
well, even just thinking, like, if they intertwine, like, Kill the Justice League into, like, the movies, that's also adding in, like, all the backstory of, like, the Arkham games, because they're intertwined with that, and it's, like, that is so much, like, video game time that you have to know, like, what the heck is happening with those characters in this one movie.
Yeah.
So it's, like, those, hopefully they explain or, like, just somehow make it where it's, like, easy for people to understand what's happening. So it's like, oh, hey, guys, did you like these characters? They have a video game. You can go play it. But
Yeah.
not being like, oh yeah, remember that one thing we did in the video game? Like in the movie, just like randomly being like, yeah, character arcs that we did. Am I right?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, the huh?
It also could potentially take us back to the like 2012 movie video game tie-in era, you know.
Oh, dude. Ooh.
Wait, I'm trying to think of what you're talking about.
Examples like the Transformers games, how they were like based on the movie, or
There's an
all
Amazing
those,
Spider-Man
those kind of
like
video
direct
game.
tie-ins, like the two Amazing Spider-Man video games.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My favorites being like I love the Lord of the Rings like video games, but I don't know. I think this is what I think they should do. I really hope that let's knock on every single bit of wood that I can see,
Okay.
and say that James Gunn was just misinterpreted, and it's just like, oh, everything that is a video game that has to do with Warner Brothers or that has to do with DC is all gonna be one continuity, and it's all gonna be that whole that's gonna be one timeline. The
Like
movies are gonna be a
universes?
timeline, and then TV shows being its own. Like all these being separate things, but they all follow the same
So kind of like the idea of like a Spider-Verse where we have Spider-Verse right now. They have Tobey Maguire's verse. You have
Yeah, all the
Tom
different
Holland.
universes.
Yeah, just
all
have
have
it,
like where it's just all kind of same dimension universe
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
for DC.
Well, video games, like the video games can go their own separate ways. They can do their own storyline, but they do not intertwine with the other ones, and like have it be its own separate thing. So you don't have to watch the movies to understand the games. You don't have to play the games to understand the movies, and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think we're ready for that leap. I mean, Marvel's doing a great job with it right now with just their separate Marvel gaming whatever, like Marvel Spider-Man 1 and 2. There's Wolverine coming,
Mhm.
Spider-Man coming.
a couple others.
Yeah.
but
Is Wolverine gonna be in the same universe as?
it's labeled exactly the same as Spider-Man. It's just Marvel's Wolverine. So I mean, I would assume so, because at this point the X-Men are very lightly starting to integrate.
Yeah.
I know they're planning to make it a bigger thing, but
Are you guys gonna play? Did you guys play Spider-Man PS4?
oh yeah.
Yeah. You guys want to play the new ones?
Oh yeah,
Okay. And Wolverine. Yeah.
absolutely.
And then I just wanted to point to both of you at the same time, and then realized I was doing the Spider-Man.
I don't want to be that guy, but the Marvel Spider-Man really makes you feel like Spider-Man.
It does. They did a good job.
I know that's a common thing that people get made fun of when they talk about the superhero video games, like how they made fun of the Arkham games.
It makes you feel like Batman.
But that's the point of a video game, though. It makes you feel like you're that person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like I've massacred millions in a Call of Duty game. I really feel like I did this to people.
That's pretty cool. I feel like I've died a lot in my video games.
Same.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm really I'm excited to see what happens.
I'm kind of in that same boat. I'm ready to see what they do.
Mhm.
Curious to see where it's gonna go, what changes they make.
I'm not.
Hopefully we get. I'm hoping we just get actors that know how to behave.
I
But-
think they honestly
Yeah.
need to just set it all aside for a good couple years.
Yeah.
It's so oversaturated right now.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
They
I feel
are
like-
putting out so much. I kind of want to go back to when we had maybe 1-2 movies in the year
Yeah.
that were kind of like it, and they did a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we did our whole dumping on the MCU episode, Phase 1 of Marvel had less than 10 entries compared to Phase 3, which had 30 plus, counting I think TV shows or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's
But,
insane. Absolutely insane.
yeah.
When Black Panther came out, I think it was the 17th or 18th movie, and that was a couple movies. I think it was the movie before Infinity War, and then after Infinity War, it shot up. Right now we're at 30 something. We've almost doubled, and we're not. I don't feel like we're half. I don't feel like Black Panther was the halfway mark of like this entire like storyline of the MCU so far.
Yeah.
But
And comparably to the MCU, I would say right now is just as rocky as like DC's universe
Oh,
was when they were
yeah.
getting
Yeah.
started.
yeah.
It's no longer cohesive, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just a mess. I would personally prefer if they just stopped for a year or two and then came back. But I know they won't because
Oh, yeah.
money. But
Disney needs their money.
They need.
They want it now.
Yeah.
I'll hail the Mighty Mouse.
Yeah.
Mighty Mouse.
Yeah. If we were to replace the superhero genre as like the mainstream, like have that replace have something replace the superhero genre for movies. Like at some point, like back in the day, it was westerns, it was Clint Eastwood, and like all
Yeah.
that. Those were the popular things. Then it moved to like sci-fi. Then it's moved to whatever. Like now it's superheroes.
I want to go back to the Michael Bay Transformers blockbuster days.
Please.
Yeah, I think right now what's a really ripe area to explore is adaptations. We've seen recent examples that have been really good. I think you guys, did you talk about that with us, the video game and stuff?
I was
You were?
on that
Okay.
episode, yeah.
I think it's a good time to maybe look at those, like more book adaptations, video game adaptations, stuff like that.
Go back into like Hunger Game phase, like where we were like for years straight.
Yeah,
We-
not like the
Not those.
preteen book
Preteen
novelization blockbusters, but you
That's
know.
But like
Going-
that idea,
Yeah.
Getting into those like very popular book series that there's a large fandom
Yeah,
for.
even dare
And
I
then
say
doing-
like anime adaptations, but probably not. Hopefully,
Not the Netflix ones,
No,
please.
no. That's the one thing too with like, I mean, Netflix adaptations have been doing stuff like that a long time where they've done animated to live action, and currently we're still doing that. And personally, I'm tired of animated movies going to a live action.
Yeah.
Having
Yeah.
it be based where if it's like a game or a book, that's different because then it's creating those characters again and getting that vision from the actual author, writer, creator.
I also wouldn't mind if it was just less universe movies and more standalone projects like we've seen. Because like Joker was really good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen much on the new one. Did it get a trailer for Foil Ado yet?
No, I haven't seen anything.
Okay.
It's gonna be a musical, dude. I'm excited.
That part has me weirded out a little bit. I've never liked musicals. I don't know how I feel about Joaquin Phoenix like doing a.
Well, so it's gonna throw off a lot of people that like don't like, and I feel like that's like a behind the scenes kind of thing. Like, I don't think that's like what like common people would know about. Like, they're gonna be like, oh, dude, that edgy Joker movie, I watched that. Let's go watch the sequel. And it's like, oh, this is like a Broadway musical. What the heck is happening?
When
Honestly,
Joker's
I think
really-
that kind of just makes me think of like Sweeney Todd with Johnny Depp.
Yes,
That's kind of how I picture that.
I would love it.
We have like the Joker performing.
I just picture Joker just singing "When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie." That's amore.
Yeah.
And then that's when Harley Quinn's just like, "That's amore." And then that's it. Yeah, I'm waiting for that musical moment where Lady Gaga just sings "That's Amore" with Joaquin Phoenix,
Dude.
and then they start
She's-
kissing each other.
She's gonna be the best part of the movie.
It's gonna be
Have
La La
no
Land with
questions.
clowns.
Says otherwise. Just
But like, yeah, I feel like that's gonna throw off a lot of people. Especially if the trailer they don't show any of that. So it's just a big surprise, just that everyone walks in and it's like just a big like power ballad of whatever, and everyone's like, what did I walk into?
Like everybody's dancing down that staircase, and they're like,
Oh my
it's like more
God.
Broadway style, and like,
Instead of everything just being like a gross, like dingy, like greenish blue color, everything's just like neon, and it's like, just Vegas.
I feel like it just looked like a. Oh, I was thinking more like a Wes Anderson, like it just followed like a brighter palette.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, I'm down for the adaptation thing. Like, I'm ready for a good old I'm ready for an Uncharted movie. I've never seen an Uncharted movie before.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yeah.
I'm also always down for Star Wars to try again, although they have a lot more like disaster recovery to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disney just has a disaster recovery. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
But they did a lot of like hiring and firing over the last couple
Yeah.
of years. So
Also, I'd
Yeah.
be okay with them just going for more like original IPs with like new blockbusters. Like, I don't know if you saw the trailer for The Creator yet. The guy who did Rogue One's doing like a new sci-fi movie.
Oh yeah.
what,
that
wait,
one.
what is it called?
The
That's-
Creator, I
that's-
think.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the
the one
AI
with the-
movie that we're like, oh, we think they just spoiled the plot point of the
Yeah.
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 in the
okay.
trailer.
Well, I think
I
it's,
hate trailers too. They just spoil everything.
it's the movie that's just like Avatar, but instead of blue people, it's AI.
Robots.
Yeah, I don't want Avatar to. I don't really like Avatar anymore either. But
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I want to see. I'm done with these big long series. I think it should be one-offs or trilogies. I think the power of a trilogy is phenomenal.
I do miss the just good trilogies.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna say it again: Transformers 1 through 3. You know.
My brain just goes just straight to oh my gosh, like the new Halloween movies,
Ah,
and just how much of a train wreck that was, and I'm just like,
Amy, don't lie to yourself. I know you love those movies.
only the first
Yeah.
one. The first one was the only good one.
She's
Also, like, no more 2-part finales, please.
like
Like Hunger Games, how they did the 2 movies for the
Oh.
final.
Oh, what do you
Twilight did the 2
oh, you
movies
mean
for
like
the final.
Fast 11 that's gonna do?
No, shut up. I don't like Fast and Furious. That's a stupid franchise. Hot dog
Exactly.
water.
It's doing that. They're doing their last movie is gonna be 3 parts.
I'm
Oh
okay
my
with Dune being
gosh.
2 parts because Dune was awesome. But
is Dune just gonna be a 2?
I
like, is
at
that
least
just a
for the first book. I don't know if they're doing all the other stuff. I assume maybe, but yeah, you know, yeah.
I wish I watched.
I'm
that
kind of
movie.
okay with that because, like, if it's all one story and they put in a lot of detail for the first,
Yeah.
and then they're doing like the rest of one book, that's fine.
Mhm.
But to do like several parts for every single one,
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
know the new Spider-Verse has been massively praised, and I think it's an amazing movie. But were you not like left sitting there after you finished it, just kind of being like, well, what about the rest of it? And like, it's more risky on a standpoint of you take the risk of your audience being disappointed because it doesn't feel like a complete story until they see the next part.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, so I'm still like when I went into this movie knowing that this was like the second movie of a 3-part,
Okay.
Mhm.
and so I was like, yeah, that's gonna end, and we won't have a for sure. Like we won't have something. Like we won't have something that you can really end on. You know, you
Yeah.
can't really end this franchise or this series on this.
Yeah.
And then, but what was I saying? I confused myself, and
You already said something.
I was saying
The
something so
ending.
beautiful and so extravagant. No,
Now she's gone.
Yeah.
Just throw in that Windows like blue screen noise.
Yeah.
Guys, we're still rebooting right now. We're installing an update right now.
Talking about the ending of Spider-Verse
Oh.
and it being a trilogy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So my biggest problem with Spider-Man or Spider-Verse with that ending was like it could have been like 15 minutes shorter,
Yeah.
but that's I don't know.
It's
Like-
just hard to do because like if you're aiming for a 2-parter, you have to close out the first part enough to where it feels complete without actually like closing out the story for it. You know?
Mhm.
It's a tricky thing to do,
Mhm.
which I
Yeah.
mean, I think they did a good job. I
Yeah.
didn't know it was a 2-parter, and
Yeah.
so I'm like, man, they better get moving. They still got a lot of stuff to do.
I
They're
know.
just like, dude, it's already 2
Like
hours.
we don't
what the
have
heck?
time to go to another universe. What are you doing? So yeah.
I don't. Well, I do know why, but I really want. No, actually, I don't know if I want this. I was about to say I want a 3-part I want a trilogy of the Scott Pilgrim movies, just put into 3 different parts and expand more on it.
Aren't they
But
doing a TV
They're
show?
doing an anime on it, and
Oh.
I'm very pumped about it. And like, and they have all the original cast going in, and they're voicing everybody, and it's gonna be sick. And yeah, but they don't need to do a 3-part movie. We're gonna redact that comment, but you can keep it. Okay. Yeah, you know what you can do, Amy.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave it all in.
It's gonna be an uncut.
Just put some elevator music in the
Yeah.
background.
Trying to find his train of thought.
Yeah. You should have.
Trying to find the point.
At one point, you should just insert like a train just like whooshing past, like. And they're like, wait, where am I at?
What's happening?
What am I doing in Philadelphia?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there should be more like standalone stuff. Like it's kind of sad to me that I would like when all of the Marvel TV shows were coming out, all the ones that were like very like story driven and like very intertwined with like the main MCU movies. I was like, I don't want to watch those. I'm gonna watch Moon Knight, which is like his own like standalone thing. It's like I'd rather watch that, and I know that it's everyone's gonna be like, what are you doing that for? You're supposed to watch the WandaVision for the Multiverse of Madness, and I'm like, but I want to watch this silly little guy run around Egypt.
You know, and
I
I
want to do
think
that.
I think that's why Phase 1 worked so well, because it was basically just standalone movies that like just barely did enough to like give you the hint where they were going.
Literally a
Yeah.
small thing at the end almost for most of them where they tied it all together.
Yeah.
And that was where the hype came from for all of
Yeah.
us as kids. Like people putting it together, you'd be like, "This is gonna go next to it. This is gonna go with it."
Mm-hmm.
And then they finally put something together, and that's where all of our hype skyrocketed.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
first Avengers when they finally put it all together.
Now it's like
Yeah.
an over reliance on it being together.
Yeah,
like you
like-
can't even have
I'm-
Spider-Man without Tony Stark, you know.
Yeah, like you have to do so much research just for one movie,
Yeah.
just to get like one joke or like one like little reference that's in
Yeah.
the background, and it's like,
So
Thanks.
if I were to tie that back into like the hopes of the future for the new DCU, I would just say to walk that line carefully. Like don't teeter too far to the point of like overly being connected.
Yeah, don't.
If that makes
Don't-
sense.
Yeah, that does.
It's kind of like what you're saying is just like, don't force into creating all the writing, the story to connect something. Have that be something so small.
Yeah.
Again, that kind of links it.
When
Whereas,
it's like when you take Tony Stark and Steve Rogers and all these characters that were set up with multiple movies, that's why they work so much better than the new characters that get one movie before they're thrown in or are just thrown into a crossover and then later on get a movie. Like they're just not set up as well because you can't set them up as well without, you know, taking the time to do so.
yeah.
the other thing too, I mean, just thinking about like childhood. Imagine like your favorite childhood show where you watched on Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network. It was a standalone show that did its own thing. You had other TV shows that did their own thing, and they did 1 or 2 crossovers where they linked episodes, and we all loved those
Yeah,
because they were
yeah.
like, "This is the coolest thing ever! My 2 favorite shows come to one."
Yeah, Jimmy
come on,
Neutron.
yeah.
and-
Parents.
I'm ready for the NCU, the Nickelodeon Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. They already have it with the video games.
Yes, they do.
I was ready for you, Jeremiah, to be like, oh yeah, the sweet life of
No, I know
Wednesday
that was.
Hannah Montana,
Montana.
That's So Raven like
Oh,
crossover.
jeez.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, I remember those being horrendous, but being
I mean, true, but no, like even his, like with his suggestion, that one was great, and they did a trilogy for that one.
Yeah. Those days.
Those good old days where you were just
When it
hyped for
was
those.
when it was cool to do crossovers.
Now it's just like with all of this, that's the thing too, is like everybody expects DC to combine everything.
Yeah.
Everyone that grew up on those shows, they're the ones that made all the MCU stuff. They're like, dude, do you remember that one episode of Sweet Life, Zack and Cody? Let's do that, but with MCU. Let's go.
Oh, jeez.
But sorry. Do you,
I'll say
like,
something. I'll say something.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Like, I think what they should do is, have all these standalone movies, only do standalone movies, and then randomly be like, oh, Brainiac's coming to destroy the world. I guess we have to team up.
Yeah. I think standalones with the occasional crossover is better than like crossover, standalone with a lot of characters in it, crossover.
Yeah.
Well, and like, or you could even like at most treat it sort of like how they did it with Winter Soldier, where like you have like side characters come in and they're like, oh hey man, I'm Black Widow, I'll kiss you once, and then continue on with the rest of the movie.
That's been her whole character though, up until her movie, which
What?
oof.
Her
Just
just being
her-
a side character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like, and like how No Way Home. I think Doctor Strange's involvement in that movie is sort of how I feel we should have. Like, if we're gonna have a crossover moment, if we have Batman and the Flash just run into each other, it's like, oh hey, you can help me with this thing. For
That's
like 5
what
minutes.
happened in The Flash though.
Oh yeah.
God help me save these babies, please. And everyone hated it.
I mean, my opinion on No Way Home has soured over time, but like it
Yeah.
at least I think is a better attempt at some of the multiverse stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Flash, I don't know. Like they did some stuff good, like with Barry and his mom, like that was all fine. But
Yeah.
I also just in that case cannot separate the art from the artist. And Ezra Miller is a very creepy guy, and I don't like him.
Yeah.
What's that meme? It's like it stinks, and I don't like it.
And I'm the meme that's like, shut up and take my money.
And then I'm in the middle of being like, I'm in danger. Oh, please. But I feel like if they, like, just thinking of like all of like the TV show stuff, there's I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard just a lot of good things, and I basically know what happens in the show, but I haven't watched it. But with
What
the
show?
Peacemaker show,
Oh, the Peacemaker.
Oh, I thought you were
Like-
gonna say Secret Invasion.
oh no, I haven't watched a Marvel show
Yeah.
in like 2 years. But with Peacemaker, it's not like it's just adding more to the character, like having the character like develop and you get to see more of them. But I don't think like what happens in the show is gonna be, I don't know if he's gonna be in another movie, but I don't think they're gonna be like forcing all the stuff that happened into the show into like the next movie that he's in.
It won't be like integral to understanding the next movie entry.
Yeah, it's just building up the character more
Yeah.
and like having people being like, oh, I thought Peacemaker was just a big jerk and he died in the movie, but
Yeah.
no, he's actually a cool guy and I feel bad for him.
It'd be like those who know just know, you know.
Yeah, exactly,
No, no, no.
exactly. And there's gonna be a Penguin show based on like
Like Happy Feet.
yeah, no, from the Batman.
There's a good crossover.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, like, from the Batman, they're making a Penguin show, and I think they're gonna have more, like, Joker shenanigans along with the Joker. Did I say Joker twice, or did I say...
I think you said,
You said
Joker
twice.
shenanigans with the
sick.
Joker, I think.
Riddler shenanigans with the Joker. So it's like, people that are like, duh, I want my Joker in my Batman movies, why isn't he in it? It's like, duh, you can go watch this show, have fun.
Yeah.
Have at it, baby. But it's like I don't know how it's gonna be just yet, but I'm hoping it's gonna be like Peacemaker, where it's like, all right, it's just gonna build up the character more, and
Yeah.
if you're wanting to see more, then you'll see more. Dude, there's a penguin right here. Whoa! You manifested.
It's been here the whole time.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I'm just intrigued.
I think what will be more intriguing is if Danny DeVito comes in as the Penguin, and then he's like, I got this penguin from Antarctica. look at him dance.
It's Mumble.
Yeah.
No, it's just Elijah Wood in like a terrible like penguin costume.
He's like, don't ask him to sing. It'll be
He
horrendous.
sucks. Ooh.
He can do the weird flippy thing. And then
No, that's for the George Clooney short.
And then okay, no,
Throw him in.
but then you have to have also you're forgetting other important penguins. You gotta. I was
No,
gonna-
this is gonna turn into our one random. Just like, why were there so many penguin movies?
Yeah, but we gotta have Surf's Up
No.
come in. I can't
No,
remember
it's
his
gotta be
name.
the sequel.
You have to have one live action penguin from
Yeah.
March of the Penguins,
Yeah,
the documentary.
Yeah.
No.
What are some other fun penguins that we could throw in?
What are the penguins? Or you can just get Jim Carrey from Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
You
That's a
can just
good
show up and
one.
be like, why am I here? And that's it.
It's like you're here to dance too.
And he was like, behold my penguin army. A horrendous like lineup of penguins that
Now we need the
Now that's
penguin
cinema.
universe, everybody.
Get that one penguin from TikTok that was like called up.
dude.
And he just stares at the camera all like serious.
Not the Dark Souls music.
You could get the penguins from the Super Mario Galaxy ones where they're like surfing on stingrays and like.
Well, who are they fighting? It's gonna be like, yeah, one of them can throw one of the baby penguins off a cliff.
Oh, yep.
But I was like,
it's
wait,
Super
who are they
Mario
fighting?
64.
I was like, how did we get here?
Yeah, I think James, do the Penguin universe. Scrap
Make another
the PCU.
short.
No, not a short. You need
No,
the,
you-
you need the PCU. I was going to say PCP, like the pipe. PVC.
Penguin pipeline. Oh
But
no.
yeah, I don't know.
How did we get here?
We were inspired, Amy. We were inspired.
The train got me out of where
It
we
derailed, but landed on a different like train track.
It like did a kickflip and it was like, whoa, that's pretty sick, dude. Don't know how we got here, but pretty sick.
Yeah. But I don't know. Anybody else have anything else to say before we?
I have one thought,
Yeah.
and it's that the one thing I can see working out for the new DCU is that James Gunn has kind of proven that he is capable of making you care more for the characters he puts on screen.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if he's managing it, hopefully it'll lead to something being much more character-driven.
Yeah.
That could be good.
Yeah,
I feel like
he's
that's
like
most
a
of his
big he's a
movies.
big nerd, and I love everything about it. Like he actually understands the comics and wants like stories to happen, and like I wonder if, like the thing that scares me about that is that he'll dive into like weird stories, like
Yeah, like the monster. I was gonna say Monster Mash, and I was like, no. Monster Palooza, no.
Monster House.
Yeah, Monster.
Monsters versus Aliens.
Now that's a whole other short that you can do, James. Bunch of monster stuff.
Monster Energy drink. What are you going into?
No, there's like a. It's
Oh,
like
what
a
he's
monster-
calling this phase or whatever, like
Oh,
Oh,
that's
Gods
what
and
it is.
Monsters, yeah.
No, but there's a movie that's like it's like
Shazam 2, Gods and
No,
Gods Among
stop!
Men or whatever. Injustice,
but-
Gods Among Us.
Among Us!
Yeah! We need an Among Us universe where everybody is sus, but like not really.
No, they're just recreating Injustice, but it's Among Us.
Yeah.
But no, it's like a.
Where red gets really mad at blue and says, "Hey, don't call me sus."
Among Us Civil War.
Why did you say that name?
Why did you say sus?
But no, it's like a. It's like just a little gang of monsters, and I think Weasel's gonna be in it. There's a Frankenstein. It's monster something. That's all that I know.
I think it's.
But it's the part of monsters in the Gods and Monsters. Whoa, who'd have thought?
Okay, let's see DCU project. We should have done this like an hour ago.
I mean, I could Google it, but
Creature Commandos.
that's what it's.
That sounds like some G.I. Joe stuff.
It is.
Exactly.
Penguin didn't like it.
Oh, you killed him!
No!
There's a little plushy penguin thing on this table that we're recording on.
No, it's a real penguin.
Oh,
I
sorry,
promise.
yeah.
There's a real penguin on my table.
Yeah, say something right now. Insert like. I was gonna say insert like Danny DeVito.
I'm the trash man.
Do some like Sunny reference.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, Danny DeVito would be so down to do a movie as the penguin.
We should
He
just
would.
do a Danny DeVito universe where it's just a universe where it's only Danny DeVito. Sort of like how Adam Sandler has his universe, but we need Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's end on this. Actually,
On
I'm
Danny
gonna read out
DeVito.
all of the projects that are coming up, and I'm just gonna ask everybody what they're most pumped for.
The
Oh.
Penguin 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
We got. Let me scroll down to the bottom of this list because that's what. Okay.
Me too.
We got Supergirl, Woman
Hot
of
Dog
Tomorrow. We got Batman the Brave and the Bold. We got Superman Legacy. We got The Lanterns. That's a
Hot Dog
TV
Water.
show. We got Booster Gold.
Dude. I'm excited for
we
that.
got Waller, like the chick from
Oh.
Suicide Squad.
You know, the one that made it?
Mm-hmm. The Authority. We got Swamp Thing. I think it's just Swamp Thing. We got the Creature Commandos. And we got Paradise Lost, which is like a Wonder Woman storyline.
Mm.
Out
Nice.
of all those, everybody, what are you most excited for?
Go away.
Hey, Swamp Thing has the potential to bring Constantine, so...
Is it Superman Legacy? That's the first one that's gonna come out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll watch it out of curiosity just to see if it looks like it's going in a good direction, but I
Yeah.
will say I'm reserving judgment on the rest until I see if it'll even be worth watching based on that one, I guess.
Yeah.
These are the projects for this year, right?
No, this is
These
like
are
in the
just-
future.
This
year-
it just has upcoming projects.
This year, the next ones coming out are... I just read it, but Aquaman's gonna be in December, and then Blue Beetle, I can't remember, but it comes out
Blue
before
Beetle's
that.
August.
Okay.
See, now I have like no interest whatsoever in seeing Aquaman 2.
Yeah.
I heard somebody already saw it, like a critic already saw it, and said it was just a hot mess.
Oh.
And
I-
I bet. I mean, God, that's
I
been a
don't know.
reoccurring theme through all of the DCU. Like, Justice League was a hot mess. Batman vs Superman was a hot mess. Flash went through like 2 directors and had a problematic lead.
I heard it was like 5 or 6 directors.
Oof. Hey, but Tom Cruise said that it was good, so we have to believe him.
Oh, I don't even know how that became a thing. They were like, Steven Spielberg called them to praise it, but I'm like, the movie was so bad.
No, come on.
It's
come
because
on.
they name dropped him, and that's it.
They didn't even name drop him. They name dropped Top Gun, but that was it.
No, but
They didn't say Tom Cruise.
Oh,
They just said Kevin Bacon was in that movie with the airplanes and beach volleyball. But
your favorite scene?
what was it?
And like, dude, this might be spoilery
That's okay.
because they put Nicolas Cage in it for a second, and
Dude,
they
Yeah, I heard
said
about that.
they
I love
said
it.
he was there and he filmed for it. Why did he still look like he was all CGI?
Well, they had to match with all the other garbage, so like,
They might as well have just like rendered him in there. It didn't even look like even close to good.
yeah, I think, yeah. They had an idea for how they wanted to make the multiverse like bubble thing look, and then they had to commit to make everything look like 3D, like have like a 3D.
It just reminded me of, like, a video game.
What's deep fake like looking thing.
They're like, oh guys, we accidentally filmed the whole movie with the hot dog water filter.
I will say that it was intended. That's what we'll do.
But I don't know if I just sit here and I'm like, oh, I've seen too many like bad CG mixed in with like a bunch of live action stuff, so it like sticks out like a sore thumb. While in those scenes, it's like, okay, everything's mostly CG. Like everything's basically CG, so it doesn't look as bad, but it's still bad looking. But that's also why I sit here like, they'll just make it animated. Oh, they'll make it look better.
Or they could have just
No, they didn't.
instead of Flash speeding through the Speed universe, the Speed Force or whatever he was doing, they could have just had him just sitting in front of a movie theater and like sitting in the seats of a movie theater and like him in a running like motion, but like you just see, oh, this is a scene from Justice League, and then they have a scene
Dude.
from Wonder Woman, I guess, and then
Just pulling a Lion King 1.5?
yeah,
Dude.
no,
No, don't do it.
But here's the project I'm excited for. If all these end up being good, leading up to this point, I'm excited for Green. I'm excited for the Lanterns.
Why not Booster Gold?
Booster Gold is a sick character, but I think I'm
He's
more.
not though.
No, I love the idea of Booster
He's a
Gold.
big dingus, and I love him for it.
He's a time travel. He just figures out how to time travel, and then he just uses tech from the future to solve all of his problems.
And he's like, look, guys, I'm really cool. Look at me. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, you're not.
But what was I saying? Yeah, Lanterns is gonna be sick. Jeremiah, did you say one that you were excited for?
I don't think I did.
Okay.
What are you excited for?
Out of the list, I mean, I'm kind of just seeing like what comes out. I'm not really excited for the next two. I didn't care for too much for Blue Beetle. For just the trailer alone, I just wasn't as interested.
But George Lopez.
Calling Batman a fascist.
If George Lopez was Blue Beetle, that'd be fun.
Oh yeah.
Dude, he might put on the suit.
I still think George Lopez should have been MODOK.
Yeah, exactly.
Just bring him directly in from Shark Boy versus Wolverine.
Just use him. Just like poorly like green screen him in.
Just like be just like, it's shocking, I'm here.
Woo! I'm gonna run this movie into the ground.
He's like, I'm I'm MODOK. Don't get confused. Hey,
You're
what are you?
supposed to be. You're supposed
I
to be
don't know.
running
I can't
the
really think of
quantum
one that
realm.
I'm like super excited for. Really,
I wouldn't
I'm just
say
kind of.
I'm excited for any of them right now, but
Fair.
The only
That's
one
fair.
that I'm like actually curious about, which it's technically not DCU, but it is technically DC, which is a new Constantine, would be really good. And they are hinting at one, which that
Keanu wants to come back.
he's
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
to come back for that character for years.
Yeah,
So
I
that'd be cool
want
to
it.
see.
That would be fun, but if they're not able to get him back and they just use like the guy that they used for like one of the TV shows, I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm fine because he's been like the voice actor for like the animated Constantine also. So it's like, he's already been him for years, so I don't mind. But I'm like, I want Keanu.
I want
Please.
Keanu.
I'm fine with him, but if you can't, just get the second best thing, please.
Do you want him to also have a relationship with King Shark? And have him
Yes.
have a kissing scene?
Yes.
Okay, good. Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay.
Who else?
True. Hayden, what do you got?
I don't know, man.
You don't know, man. Okay, am I just the person that set up this episode and was just like, yeah, I'm pumped for all this? And everyone's like,
I told you from the beginning.
yeah, I
didn't care.
I knew that you two didn't really care. And so I'm like, okay, we're going to get opposing things. And now I'm like, I'm against the world, baby.
Sir, I've been running the hype train. I've been sitting here like, yeah, I'm ready. I don't care what happens. Let's just go. I already bought the tickets to all of them, but let's just do it. Come on.
Good. I got you to support me, Amy.
See, I'm just a strong advocate for it's time to stop.
Sir, please.
It's time to stop. Know your
Yeah.
place.
The oven has been going for years. I think it's done. Pull it out and let's enjoy.
I think she's done.
Okay, Amy. Other than Batman the Brave and the Bold, what are you excited for?
The Batman 2.
Okay.
Got him! Loophole!
Isn't that supposedly like super far off too for some reason?
I have no idea.
I feel like didn't they? They said a year, and I remember being like, "Wow, that's far away."
Well, like, I feel like they've recently just announced that, like, one of the villains in the movie is Clayface. But I don't know if it's like, yeah, this is our main villain is Clayface, or it's like, duh, just Clayface is in the movie. Don't know if it's like 10 minutes or like an hour.
Yeah, kind of like when they were like, "Rhino's in the Amazing Spider-Man 2."
He's only
He's
in 2
in there.
minutes.
You have pre-Rhino for like longer than the actual Rhino.
Yeah.
Oh,
Guys, Rhino's gonna
Disgusting
be in the
little
new.
man.
Rhino's gonna be in Craven.
I
Everybody.
saw that. This is a tangent too, but I hate how they're trying to do all this without Spider-Man. It's dumb.
Yeah.
It's big dumb.
I think they're just gonna. I think what they're leading to is a Sinister Six movie.
Yeah, it's just
And-
weird. Like, I really was not vibing with them creating Venom, like, just on his own.
Yeah, I wasn't either, and
I was hoping for a good one.
unfortunately,
I like
it's the best of the best of what we've got.
Yeah, and
But I'm ready for Craven to be the best thing that we've ever seen.
The trailer does not give me a lot of optimism.
Come
I'm
on,
scared. No, everyone's gonna be like, dude, it's gonna be Morbius too, but it's like, okay, but I feel like this one's gonna be like a boring bad movie. While with Morbius,
It's
I
like
mean,
a-
for me personally, it pissed me off the whole time, but everyone else had a good
Come
time.
on,
So
I was enthralled that every other sentence was "It's Morbin time."
and
I still-
the sequel's gonna be.
I still crack up
Craven.
over the whole situation with them convincing it to put it back in theaters for
Yeah.
a weekend.
There's a tweet where someone's like, "Wait, put it back in theaters again. I was busy that weekend."
we were all
Please."
busy that weekend. Do it again.
Okay, you know, like, so our local movie theater, you can rent out a theater and watch whatever movie you want. I want to do I want to do a big long double feature where we watch Morbius and then Craven right after that.
Dude,
when
I
the
would
movie
be,
comes
I would be dying.
out. I would love every moment of it. Guys, I've seen Morbius 3 times.
Oh my gosh! I haven't even
bought-
convinced
you
myself
bought-
to see it once.
I watched it once because I'm like, I have to watch the movie. It's an event. And then the second time was, hey, roommates, want to watch some garbage? And then we
And
watched
then you
it.
bought it, and you
then-
bought a special edition
Yeah,
of
I
it.
bought a collector's edition, baby.
Aw.
with three pictures that were all the exact same thing. It
I
was-
think that might make you legitimately like the movie's biggest fan.
yeah, I know, and it's like ironic. Like, okay,
And I was sitting there fuming the whole time. And the first time we got from the movie, and you're like, dude, best movie ever. And I was like, no, it was not.
it was the best
He was-
Batman movie that came out that year.
I was so pissed. The
Better
Batman
than
was
the
playing in
Batman.
the theater next to us, and I was sitting there like, I could be having a good time right now.
But
I'm
you had
not.
a better time.
No, I did not. You gaslit me the whole time after the movie. You're like, the editing was good. What are you talking about? I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it was not.
Morbius, great arc.
No, I went on an hour rant of how how the editing in the first 10 minutes was the worst thing ever.
I'm pretty sure Morbius and Anti-Morbius were the only white people in the movie, and so I like that because of the diversity.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, it's
Oh,
diverse. 'Cause
wait,
one of them was
guys.
British. Whoa.
I forgot. There's another one. There was Vulture at the end of the movie.
Okay, and people have been like, dude, they've been doing the thing of Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it still doesn't
Why
make
not?
sense though.
No, it
I
makes
still
zero
hate
sense.
it.
Are you sure? I think you need to I think you need to watch the movie to fully understand, Dylan.
No, please.
I don't care if you never saw in Puss in Boots: Last Wish. I don't care if you didn't watch anything.
See, that one I'll admit I probably do need to watch. But Morbius, there's been enough word
It's a
of mouth.
close second.
Dylan,
It's a
he's
close
gonna hold us
second.
hostage and force us to watch it.
I'm just gonna wake up at 3 a.m. with Sam like holding me down on a darkly lit couch.
Yeah. I'm like, it's
Dude.
Morbin time. It's Morbin time.
Dude, I have a gift that's just the whole movie. It's so good. It looks like utter trash, but I'd rather watch that where it's like 5 minutes rather than a 2 hour or like an hour and a half movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's an opinion.
If Sony wants to do their own like Spider-Man universe, just get Andrew Garfield back and just do it with him, but like have it be
Yes.
connected and not
Like-
stupid.
And then have Morbius morb all over him, and
No!
then you never see Andrew Garfield ever again.
No, please.
No! I haven't seen one of those videos since the Utah ban.
You just see them until like Jared Leto morbs all over Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, am I-
Please end the episode.
am I-
I'm dying.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess, well, let's just stop here before we get too far. I think we said, one last thing like a half hour ago.
That
But
is fine.
yeah, this has been an episode, everybody.
I hope we answered your question.
Yeah. I feel like you guys specifically are in the no more supers, no more
Yeah.
supers. But yeah, DC movies are gonna come out whether we like it or not. So, yeah. Before we go, preach. Say something about your podcast. I can't think of the word. Plug.
Preach, I like preach.
Yeah, preach.
Future episodes.
We're the Nerd Switch podcast. We haven't really been uploading lately, but we'll work on it. We're working on the comeback of the century where we'll just like release an episode and probably not say anything about it. But
Gotti.
That's what we've been doing for months. We just release stuff and don't say anything about it.
yeah, we just do like reviews and discussions. You know, it's fun.
We've been on episodes before. I think it's better episodes, but like,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
We've been stockpiling a bunch of stuff, so now we have a ton of stuff we can review.
Aw,
Here's
sweet.
me winking to Jeremiah because we haven't done anything in the last like month.
It's like, yeah, we
There's
have.
been reasons for that, okay?
We're on Spotify and Apple Podcast. We're probably not doing YouTube anymore because I don't want to.
YouTube's a lot, man.
Yeah.
Having to wait like hours for it to export. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
a
kind
lot.
of tedious.
And then
How about you just go to bed?
and
I'm
have
like,
it-
okay, it's exporting, gonna put on a 10-hour video. Good night.
And then we're on social media. We're Instagram. It's nerd_switch_podcast because you can't name stuff in ways that make sense. So, yeah,
That's
check us
just
out
how
if you
we
want.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description, or
Yeah.
Amy will at least.
Don't hit me.
So,
Sir?
I was. It was a friendly pat. It was a love pat. Love hat.
Love
hat.
Gross.
But yeah. Everybody, have a good whatever you're doing. Have a good rest of your shift. Have a good rest of your drive. Have a good rest of your lounging around at the house.
Have a good rest of your meaningless existence.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing, enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. Have a good time. And we'll catch you in the next episode when we do something. I can't remember what the next episode is. But you'll find out. See you later, everybody.
Bye.
Well, thanks for listening to this episode. If you liked this, you should go check out our other stuff. If you're on Apple Podcast or Spotify, please leave a review. Check out our other videos on YouTube where we have bonus content outside of a podcast. And if you like that, please like, comment, and subscribe to also help our channel grow. Recommend us to your friends so they can also enjoy the dynamic duo of a lifetime.
And check us out on TikTok and Instagram at AJS_podcast. And check out my art stuff on Instagram at Babby_Yammy. And we'll see you in the next one.
See ya!